Okay, we're bringing our book back in. It's been sitting now drying for quite a while, so we're just going to remove all these bits and pieces. Now just be careful when you do this, because you can't guarantee that some of this paper hasn't glued to your outside pieces of paper, so just be careful. You can have wee tears and whatever. Be careful. So I'll just take these all off. Just hope none of it is stuck to the pages. Hopefully it shouldn't if you have your wee loops and everything done and you don't put your if you don't put the clips right up onto the paper, it shouldn't glue, but we'll soon see. Oh, that piece seems to have, it's just stuck a wee bit there, just. Nope, it's come off okay. And that one's come off fine. And this one's just glued a wee bit. Yeah, it's come off. No problem. So just keep those for whenever you're making your books. I just have them in with my templates. So there you go. It's still a wee bit tacky. It's not glued perfectly, but just for the tutorial purposes I'll just carry on. But I would suggest that you do leave it at least an hour to dry. Just give it at the very least an hour, up to 2 hours to dry. Yeah, it's looking good. You can see paper or the cardstock down the spine, so you don't see the threads. And then this is just a wee bit grubby, but don't worry about that. And then there's all your pages, and look, not one space, not a space anywhere between the signatures. It's all done with the ribbons, pulls it in tight, and then the glue. Look, not a space, so I'm not going to have any movement in my signatures at all. It's perfectly stuck together. So I'll just put that down. So now we're going to bring in the pieces of cardstock that is going to glue onto this page, and then this side will be glued on to the outside of your book, and these will make, let me see if I've got this book here. So if I just bring in this book again, I'll show you what I mean by this being glued to the inside. Just look at this book. We'll see that this is the cardstock. So I glued it to this piece of paper, which is this outside piece. And then it goes on to the inside of your book cover. And that's what holds your book, the book part, onto the cover part. So you do that for the front and you do that for the back. And then you can do whatever you want here, decorate this or put envelopes in it like I like to do. So I use those, I put wee envelopes in it so you can store notes and tickets that you want to keep from maybe the cinema or a gig you've been to. So that's what you do. You just use a piece of cardstock, nothing difficult. We all have cardstock, so I'll show you how we add that. This is why you should probably leave this a good hour, because that's sort of lifting a wee bit there, but I'll not panic about it too much. Just for this tutorial it'll not matter. I just want to make sure that's well glued down. That's why I sort of recommend keeping it sitting for an hour. Or if you're really impatient you could use probably your heat tool, but I would recommend you didn't. I would suggest you just let it air dry, because if you use the heat tool it tends to curl up the paper a wee bit and makes the glue bubble. But if you're really impatient you could, I suppose, get away with lightly drying it with your heat tool, but then I would leave it the rest of the time just to let it dry naturally. You can also do that with the cover if you want to use your heat tool sort of to speed up the process. You can certainly do that. That's not a problem with the cover. But for the spine I would suggest maybe start it if you want with a heat tool, but I would suggest leaving it to dry on its own. But we'll just tear on because we've got things to do. I take a piece of old cardstock or whatever you've got lying about. I'll just use this here, and I put it on the inside of this page because I'm going to be gluing, so I don't want to get glue on the inside of my book. I know there's a lot of white here, but I'll try and show you. So just put that in there. Hold on, just take a sup on the tea. That's the mug my hubby bought me. It says, "I love ewe, with a wee sheep on it. He couldn't find one with a cow, so we got a sheep. Apologies, a bit thirsty. So the cardstock is going to glue on here. So we're going to glue your cardstock, and it's going to go onto that first page of your book, and then this will sort of get folded over like that, and then this side will get glued onto the inside of your book, and that's what's going to hold your book together. So we'll just, I think I'll glue onto the cardstock because it's a bit thicker, and because this paper is quite thin, I don't want it torn with the wet glue. So I'll glue the cardstock itself. Just get my dodgy glue back and my trusty foam brush. And I'll just glue one half of the cardstock. And make sure you get the glue everywhere, out to the edges, particularly the edges, they need to be well glued. But again, you have to get it everywhere in the middle because you'll end up with air pockets, and you don't want that. So, there we go. It's all nicely glued. Just set that there. Turn the cardstock over. That's the other piece for the back, so we'll just move that out of the way for now. And place that up to the edge. There's a bit of glue there. Just mop that up. And press it down firmly. And you'll see it's just curling up a wee bit here. That's just because the glue's so wet, but whenever that dries it will go back out again. Just use your bone folder. Now this is the stage where you don't want to be getting this page mucky, because this is going to be seen in the book. You can decorate it obviously and cover it with whatever you want, but try to be careful not to get wee glue marks or whatever, dirty fingerprints over it. Just give that a good press down. And then this is the side that's going to go on to your book cover. So just leave that like that for now. Take this out. Flip it over to the back. And this is your back cover. So again, take your paper and slide your piece of scrap paper on the inside so you don't get glue anywhere else on your book. Take your next piece of card. So it's going to be glued on there. And take your glue and foam brush. Place your glue on half of this page as well. Make sure you get it out to the edges, as I said. There we go. Turn it over. Just make sure there's no glue on the outside of it. And just place it down on your back page. Making sure you line it up perfectly. And press down. Mark there. That must have been in the paper. Oh well. I'll probably decorate the inside pages anyway. Just make sure that the bone folder's clean when I'm using it as well. And press down. And again, this is the part that's going to be glued to the inside cover of your book. So press that down well. Press it out to the spine. and then we can take that scrap bit of paper out. Just turn this back over, make sure it's still glued down well. Pressing it down to the edge of the spine. So I'll just show you here. So whenever you open your book, this will be the inside, glued into the inside of your cover. You'll open your book like this, and this is what it'll look like. And then you open your pages just like that. So we have to come in now with the cover and then add it to the book, and then that's finished. You just have to decorate your book any way you want. Back in a second. Okay, this is the time where we're going to add the book cover to your book. Now I did something a bit silly. I put both sides of card on, which I've never done before, and I don't know why I did it. So in future, if you're doing it, just put one piece of card on first and then glue it to the inside of your book, and then turn it over, put the back piece on, and then glue that to the inside of your book. It's not a disaster. The book will still work. It just makes it a wee bit awkward if you glue both sections on at the same time. I don't know why I did it. I've never done it before, but anyway, we live and learn. Learn from my mistakes. So, got our book cover that's been drying. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this in into the spine and line it up how I want my book to sit. Now this might work actually okay. This might be quite a good way of doing it. We'll soon see. So we'll line the spine up with the spine. Now you're not going to glue the spine to the inside of your cover. You don't do that. It's just this piece of cardboard that gets glued. The spine itself doesn't get glued to the book cover at all. Because obviously you need the book cover to be able to move so you can open the pages out properly. So, line this up where I want it. Looks pretty good. And then what I tend to do is line it up where I want it. And before I glue it, I actually close the book over so I get the crease where I want my cardstock. So that's obstructing the spine a wee bit, so I just need to move this forward. So this is what I'm saying with gluing one piece on at a time, because if I hadn't done that it would have been easier for me to put this together. So, just make sure that closes up over the spine. Just needs to be a wee bit closer. That looks good. And then make sure the spine's straight. So the spine's straight up against the inside of the book spine. And then I close that over. And that should give me the crease in my cardstock that I need. Okay, back in with our scratch piece of paper, or scrap piece of paper, sorry. Just put it there and glue our piece of cardstock right to the edges. Make sure the centre's well glued. What I do is I tend to bring the book up to the spine and then bring this piece of card up, making sure it's straight, and take that away and close it. Give it a good rub. Then open your book. And you'll see it's creased into the spine there. Just make sure the crease line's perfect. Then turn your book onto its side. Make sure your cardstock's glued down well into the inside page. So this crease actually goes into the wee creases that you made. Do you remember on the outside? This was the space between the book cover and the spine itself. So this crease on the inside actually sits in here on the inside of your book. And then that means that your book can open outright perfectly. So you don't actually need to glue the spine itself to the back piece or the inside of the book cover. If you were to glue the spine to the book cover, your book wouldn't open out properly like this. It would have problems, it would be too tight, it would struggle. You'd only maybe get it open like this, sort of halfway, but you want your book to open outright flat. And this is something I had to learn the hard way. I had a few issues with some books that were only open to the side. Now I wasn't gluing the spine down to the back piece, but I'd just been making a few wee mistakes with this, where that this crease line was in a wee bit or maybe too far this way, and it meant it wasn't sitting on the space between the spine and the cover, and it meant the book couldn't open out properly. But we got it sorted finally. I worked it out. I worked out what I was doing wrong. So that's your front cover done. And usually whenever you get the front cover done, the back piece is pretty easy. It just sort of falls into place. You just have to glue it over. So we'll just take our scrap piece of paper here. So we bring the spine up, make sure it's put it up against the spine of the book itself. So the outside cover spine, put it up. Bring your cardstock up to meet the inside part of the book cover. Take your scrap piece of paper out. Make sure that's well glued down. And close your book and press it down. Sorry, I've got glue all over me. Press your book down. Open it again, put it up onto its side, make sure the crease is defined, and press down. Make sure it's well glued, because this is what's going to hold your book together. So if this isn't well glued down, you need to add another wee touch of glue. Just lift the sides up and press it down and just mop up any excess. And there you have it. That's your book made, complete, perfect and ready for you to journal in, to decorate any way you want. So I'll just show you. You can decorate the inside as well, you can paint on it, or you can add wee envelopes to keep notes and whatever. And there's your book. Perfectly made. Now I'll just show you a smaller one of a book that I made recently. This is a smaller one. This is sort of half the size of that. And that's how I decorated the cover. This one was actually, I did use pattern paper because the book was small enough. I didn't have to use the A3 paper, so I was able to use the Prima. Which one was it? Pixie Glen, I think. I think that's its name. I think that's the only one I've got actually. Yeah, so I used the Pixie Glen paper for this one. And I made a wee mistake and cut it too short. It should have come out a wee bit further here, but I mean it's not an issue at all. And that's the book there. It's decorated. I put nice wee book corners on it, and I put a hole in here with my crocodile and just added this wee chain, and it can come off because it's on a swivel clasp, so you can add it to your bag or your phone or whatever. So that's it, folks. That's how you make a book. This is the most basic way I know of making it myself. I hope you enjoyed these tutorials. I'd love to hear your comments, and if you have any questions at all, just give me a wee shout below, or you can PM me as well, and I'll gladly help you any way I can. So thanks for watching, everybody. That's it. Bye for now.